Hello and welcome to another installment of App Developer Conversations. I'm Ian Stefferman of Mobile Dev HQ, here with Ryan Morello of Placely and Ruby Ganguly of AppTentive. There's been a bunch of talk recently over the last couple of days. Last week, Apple announced their earnings. They had sort of a phenomenal quarter and their stock got killed. Yesterday, Amazon released their earnings. Depending on who you ask, they had an awful quarter or an amazing quarter, and their stock jumped like crazy. In particular, I think Apple, we have it up here. Apple's earnings were $13.50 per share. They sold 47 million iPhones in the quarter, the holiday quarter, and their revenue was $54 billion or so. Amazon's revenue, I believe, over the quarter was 21 billion or 22 billion. They did 21 cents a share in earnings, and their net income was something like $97 million on the $21 billion of revenue. So what gives? Let's start with you as the Apple fanboy. Why does the market hate Apple right now?
I don't know. And as a previous owner of Apple stock, I'm glad that I got out. I was close to the highs. So that's I'm happy about that. It seems like they're kind of just waiting for Apple to do something else. And there's a lot of noise, as we've discussed ad nauseum about, they're not doing as well, Samsung's doing great, blah, 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 blah. That I think might be kind of permeating the markets and hurting their share price.
It does kind of feel to me like Apple shareholders and watchers expect Apple to do mind-blowing things every quarter, which is not on the financial side, but on the more like inspiration side, right?
Yeah.
And they're chugging along in their business like nobody else really ever has. But people are like, but they just sold 47 million iPhones. It's the same iPhone that's been out for a year, right? Which is really, really very strange.
Yeah.
What about on the Amazon side?
Well, I mean, I think the story with Amazon is that people are buying into the growth. They're seeing the opportunity. They're seeing Amazon continue to make smart move after smart move, opening up larger and larger markets. And I think to a certain extent, Amazon's stealing Apple's playbook around secrecy, or they're copying it at least, right? And that secrecy right now is paying dividends because people don't know what's going on with the Kindle Fire business, like with their device sales. They can't break out all of the media that's sold through it, so they're trying to infer from a couple of data points. And I think that secrecy right now is helping them. But I'm sure at some point, the market's gonna be like too far ahead of itself, get upset, and then it'll come crashing down for a good period of time too. It's a cycle.
That's right. Yeah, I mean nobody knows. There's Kindle Fire, nobody knows about. There's Kindle Paperweight, nobody knows about. There's the number of ebooks sold, nobody knows about. There's AWS, which they say now is a multi-billion-dollar revenue stream.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows anything about. Is it profitable? Who knows?
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, okay, well they're doing lots of stuff. They've got crazy top line, and they're definitely investing in the future. And I feel like a lot of people are like Jeff Bezos has burned us before. Don't let him burn us again, right?
Yeah.
Which I'm a big proponent of Amazon, and I think they're doing awesome stuff. But
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think for Amazon, it's clearly like a future story. And it's amazing that the future just never seems to get here. But what we do see is them continuing to execute and invest in the areas that they've determined to be key for their business. So I think that's what probably gets a lot of people excited, right? Like, in 10 years, does Amazon control the internet, right? And not the pipes, but all of the content and the data and everything. Like that's a pretty big deal. I mean, I think if I'm an Amazon shareholder, and I kind of am because my wife works there, like, am I worried that sales aren't growing as fast as maybe they once were? Yeah, a little bit.
all right, so one of the things that you mentioned there was content, and one of the key pieces that Jeff Bezos said was that ebooks were up 70 some odd % year over year. ebook sales, and that I think he said something to the effect of the inflection point we've been waiting for has now arrived, where ebooks are now the dominant player in the book space. What do you think about the future of content and ebooks at Amazon and in the world, and Amazon's role in the whole world as it stands?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty optimistic about it, and I think that the reality is we're transitioning faster than anybody anticipates into a mobile world with digital content, right? Like so many of the goods and services we consume are digital, and it seems like Amazon figured out how to get us all buying physical goods through digital mediums, and now they're figuring out how to sell us digital goods and digital mediums across multiple channels, some of which they own end to end, and that looks really exciting.
Yeah. Sorry, I dazed off for a second.
I was talking for a little while.
So, all right. So, buy, sell, hold, and why for Apple?
I would go with hold, but be ready to buy more, because we've talked before about they kind of have this 3-year release cycle, and we're kind of there. So I would hold.
I mean, buy. It's the kind of stock where I buy every once in a while. I know several weeks ago, maybe some of you guys bought at 500 and got burned. Don't look to me for stock advice, but I like owning things I don't have to worry about, and Apple and Amazon are two companies. I mean, it's like two great choices if you think the way I do. Like 5-10 years from now, I want to own both of those. Fine.
I'm a sell on Apple, and that's because my criteria for individual stocks is they have to have, it's almost venture scale for me, right? Like they have to have the opportunity to go 10x, and I'm just not sure that Apple can be a multi-trillion-dollar company, right? Like, so I'm a sell on Apple. What about Amazon? Buy, sell, hold.
I'd be selling Amazon, I think, just because they're trading at like 4,000 price to earnings ratio. That's unheard of. Or at minimum, I'd be holding it with a really hard stop, because it has fluctuated relatively substantially over the last 6 months.
Yep.
I think maybe even $100 a share.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, long term, I'm bullish. I don't know if I'd buy it right now, though. I might be a hold if you're asking about like at the price it's at. But generally speaking, I don't think I have to worry about it either.
Yep. I'm a hold on Amazon because I actually think that they have the opportunity to grow at least 5x to the size of Walmart, and 10x is within reach when you look at the fact that they're in so many different categories.
Yeah, that's true.
Cool. Well, thanks for watching. Like this video, comment, subscribe to our channels, and watch the other segments. Talk soon. Finally, the publishers are wising up to the fact that an individual user is not necessarily worth as much as they once wanted, and this mostly comes on the consumer side and on the game side, which I think drives